Now this is getting ridiculous. DeMar DeRozan extended his NBA record of scoring at least 35 plus points on at least 50% shooting to a now ridiculous 8 consecutive games. Not to mention, Deebo also is the first Bulls player since his heiress Michael Jordan himself to have scored at least 30 points in 9 straight games. And to put a huge cherry on top, as of most recent reports from Perkins, Stephen A. Smith of ESPN, Deebo is the front runner as of today for the MVP conversation.
You've been hot on DeRozan, but can he win MVP?
He most certainly can.
Okay.
I have DeMar DeRozan neck and neck with Joel Embiid at this particular moment in time.
That's right. According to Perk and Stephen A. Smith, Deebo has the edge when it comes to the MVP conversation, even over the likes of Joel Embiid. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Prior to the All-Star break, Deebo was 9th in the MVP ladder. But fast forward just a couple of weeks later, although it may not be official yet, but verbally at least, it seems Bulls Nation may have just gotten a sneak peek at the next MVP ladder rankings. Too much DeRozan. These were Atlanta Hawks head coach Nate McMillan's thoughts when asked how his team lost in the final minute of last night's contest versus the Bulls, which saw Deebo take over, scoring 5 points in the final minute to seal a 4-point win and his team's 6th straight W. And if I'm being transparent here, every team that Deebo has faced this season, especially during this record-breaking streak of his, probably feels the same way as Nate does here. Even recently acquired teammate Tristan Thompson, who had a solid night off the bench for the Bulls by the way, posting a solid 11 points and 6 boards to go along with it in his first games in a Bulls uniform. TT sang huge praises for Deebo, calling him a smooth criminal, whom the basket seems to be the size of Lake Michigan for at the moment. And side note, just wanted to thank everybody that has supported me in my journey so far to 100K. I just hit 1K on the channel and it's only 4 months old. I'm super grateful. And having said that, I did notice that only 5.2% of you right now that are actually watching are subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does make a world of difference. And smash that like button while you're at it, so that this video can get to more NBA fans such as yourself. Now, I did make a take on what TT brings to the Bulls, as well as why he was added in the first place, so I'll leave that for you on the top right in case you haven't seen it yet. Now, to put things in perspective a little more, the most current MVP odds, as per Vegas, saw DeRozan's MVP chances reduced from 50 to 1 at the end of January to 16 to 1 as of Friday at Caesars Sportsbook. DeRozan's odds of winning MVP are now 16 to 1, trailing only the likes of Joel Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, and Curry. And when it comes to Vegas, the most insane part about this is that Deebo's odds this season opened at 250 to 1. And this is another means of quite literally pointing out how blatantly the superstar guard is defying the odds this season. And my personal favorite, here's what Stephen A. Smith, someone who was never paid mind to Deebo when he was in Toronto, where I reside by the way, for those of you who don't know, Smith had this to say about Deebo today.
DeMar DeRozan was in Toronto with Kyle Lowry, his best friend. Ladies and gentlemen, they were winning 58, 59 games a season. They were best team in the Atlantic Division. They were a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference year after year after year.
Now that is super satisfying as a Raptors fan to hear. I mean, the amount of good things that Stephen A. Smith has said about Deebo from my memory has been as little as probably this dude in size. Now, not only has what Deebo been doing on an individual level absolutely historic, but the fact that he's leading his top-seeded Bulls in the East to victories while doing so makes this ongoing record-breaking run of his even more incredible. As mentioned before, the Bulls are riding a 6-game win streak at the moment, but the road from here on out does not get any easier. In fact, the Bulls are set to close out the 2021-2022 campaign with one of the toughest schedules in the league. With the Grizz, Heat, Hawks, Bucks, and Sixers on the horizon, and given the fact that teams are now attempting to solidify their place in the standings before the commencement of this year's playoffs, Deebo and the Bulls are now going to need to be just as good as they have been all season long, especially as they've been recently. The Sumnu was recently quoted saying, "He wants to win. He makes the right play at all times." One thing I like about DeMar, he knows when it's time to be selfish a little bit, and when we need a basket, he always delivers for us. Having this sense of security because of the play of your team's superstar can only add to the overall confidence of a seriously contending team, which the Chicago Bulls continue to certainly prove that they are. Now, to add on to the mountain of accomplishments he has thus far attained this season, Deebo has the chance to break yet another one of MJ's records if he can have another 30-point game, which would tie him for yet another MJ record of most consecutive games having scored 30 points or more. Not to mention, it's not too far-fetched to assume that if he does break the record, which seems likely at this point given his ridiculous play as of late, that the superstar guard will do it with even better efficiency than Michael did. Now, with Zach LaVine having undergone platelet-rich plasma therapy, as well as a cortisone injection to go along with fluid drainage from an ailing right knee, which caused the high-flying superstar to miss 3 games prior to the 2022 All-Star break, the self-proclaimed best duo in the NBA looks more than ready for the final stretch of the season. Not to mention, with the much-anticipated returns of key cogs Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso also in the horizon, the Eastern Conference leading Bulls are about to get even stronger defensively as well as offensively, which is going to add even more firepower to what has become a team that has legitimately become serious 2021-2022 NBA title contenders. I recently made a take on why the Bulls should be considered league-wide to be serious and legitimate championship contenders, and how they should not be slept on. You do not want to miss that one, especially if you enjoyed this one. And remember, if you do watch it, you'll be feeding a hungry African. Seriously, I'm African, and I get hungry a lot. Got some munchies.